of DETCOG, and I would just say, this is our 60th anniversary year. We're building up to the month of November 1966, which is when DETCOG was originally organized. And so we thought, well, we're going to celebrate all year long, and one of the unique things about DETCOG is we go on the road. Our monthly board meetings are held in a different county each month. We're always in San Jacinto County in March. And we thought, well, in addition to that, we'll just show up at the courthouse that morning and have a little short reception, very informal. The cookies are, I lied to some of them, the cookies really are good. I was trying to keep Councilman Schenkel out of those cookies. They're delicious. We also have materials here. This is a really good little, I call it a one-pager, but it's front and back with just a very brief summary of all of our major programs. Now, we have some special projects going on that may not be on here, but this will answer the question that I was just asked out in the hallway, and I get asked all the time, just what is DETCOG? We are different things to different people because we're involved in so many different areas, but the bottom line is we exist to deliver resources from the federal and state government down to our local communities. The state of Texas has got a variety of programs. The federal government has a variety of programs. The governor's office, for example, funds public safety and criminal justice and homeland security programs. Now we got John Klingham back here with Tatum. That's a whole different animal.
That's an animal.
But they're a good partner.
It's an animal.
It's a good partner. But the governor's office doesn't want to deal with 254 different counties and 1,300 different cities. Just the bureaucracy of that would be almost impossible to have any real effective service. So the state is divided into 24 regions. We're state planning region 14, and we cover 11 counties of deep East Texas, including San Jacinto. And so the state likes to deal with these 24 councils of government, and then we pass the information, the funds, the programs, whatever it may be, on down to our local communities. And so we are, to some people, we're the senior citizen center because we fund senior centers and we fund home delivered meals. Now, I will say this in defense of the senior centers, we don't fund them nearly well enough, but we give them all the money we can get out of Austin and Washington, but they still have a lot of things to do locally to be successful. There's just not enough funding in any of these programs to really meet all the needs, and that's why volunteers, local community service organizations, and just support of the community at large is really important to all these programs. So to some people, we're 911, and we've got our 911 director here with us today. If you get in an emergency situation, you need help, you want to be able to call or text to 911 and get help. When you do that, somebody at the sheriff's office down here is going to answer your 911 call in the dispatch center. So we're not responsible for handling calls and dispatching people, but we're the entity that's responsible for making sure the call goes where it's supposed to go and the data that they need to see is there. So we have this big network across our 11 counties that ties it all together, so when you dial or text 911, it knows where to route the call and sends in the information to get you help. We do a lot of law enforcement training, lots of it, and it's virtually everything we do in the way of law enforcement training is absolutely free of charge. All you have to do is be able to get to where the training is. A lot of it is in Lufkin at our building, but when there's a specific need, we'll come out and set up training classes in counties around the region, to help them as needed. We have a very large housing program. It's a rental assistance program called Housing Choice Vouchers. About 1,700 families around our region receive help to have affordable, fair housing because of that program, which is funded by HUD and the federal government. Phase, Jesse is here with Phase, and these other ladies here. Phase is Family and Youth Success. It's one of the programs people probably know less about, but it's one of our I think, best programs because it helps kids stay out of trouble and stay in school and stay together with their family unit. The Department of Family and Protective Services funds FAYS. They also fund CPS, which is notorious for sometimes having to go in and break up families, take kids out of the households. Our program is early intervention, strictly designed to keep CPS from ever having to be involved. We get referrals from school counselors, sometimes from court systems. We work with kids and their families to counsel them, support them, help them stay on the straight and narrow so that they can be successful and stay in school and stay in the family and not have to be elevated to another crisis situation. And we have about a 98% success rate serving, I think it's more than 600 individual families per year now in that FAYS program. We're the only council of governments in Texas that does that. The FAYS program is statewide, but in other parts of the state, in Houston, you got the big United Way. In Beaumont, you got the Butler Family Foundation. In Dallas, you got these large nonprofits that operate a lot of these programs. In Deep East Texas, we're rural, we're poor, and we don't have a large nonprofit like that to step up and operate these programs. So that's one of the good things about COGS. They're designed by the state to be able to do whatever it is that that region needs them to do. And that's why we run this FAYS program, because honestly, there's nobody else to operate it. And if we hadn't stepped up some years ago and said we'd do it, it wouldn't be here today. So that's just a little bit about DETCOG. I'm going to shut up. I will tell you this. These will be popular once I explain to you what they are. This is more than just a little pretty. That's a really nice little thumb drive. And that's compliments of our regional services program, which operates a local government solid waste grant program. San Jacinto County is one of the beneficiaries of that. It promotes things like tire recycling, garbage cleanup, litter prevention, anything to reduce the amount of waste going to landfills and just improve our environment. It's a relatively small program, but a little bit of money goes a long way to one of our small rural counties trying to clean up old tires or other hazard chemicals and things. So come look around here before you leave. Be sure that the cookies are good. I want to introduce the president of DETCOG. He's only the third person from San Jacinto County to serve in this capacity. Judge K.P. Murray, way back yonder, was a DETCOG president. Judge Joe McMurray, a little later, was a DETCOG president. And Commissioner Mark Natuno is serving this term, 25-26 as our president, and of course you all know him, and he knows I like to talk, so I'm going to shut up.
He does like to talk, and he will still show. On behalf of San Jacinto County, I would like to thank DETCOG for what they do for us, for all 11 counties now. It used to be 12, Jasper removed themselves, so we're going to take 11. And all the employees that are here to represent DETCOG, we appreciate what you do. One of the things that I found interesting, I don't know if you got this document from the county clerk or not, but this is the original resolution, and it says 68. It should be probably 66, but we're always a little behind things here at San Jacinto County.
Well, I can explain that in a minute.
So I wanted to read off the names. We had a county judge named J.R. Page. I did not know. We had a commissioner of Precinct 1, McKellar. We had Precinct 2, Commissioner Pollard. We had a Precinct 3, Commissioner Warren. I did have the opportunity to meet Mr. Toole, which was Precinct 4 Commissioner where I reside. They even had the sheriff on the resolution. Mr. Woodruff, I remember him in the past. And then Imogene Trapp was the district clerk or the county clerk. So with all those things saying, 60 years of handing the baton to the next person. And without that, DETCOG doesn't exist. So it is an effort for DETCOG to promote new people, and that's one thing that I've always said, you have to get involved. if you get on one of these committees, Judge Murphy knows so well about that, you've got to get there, you've got to go to the meetings, you've got to figure out what's going on. If you don't, you're just sitting there lost. So therefore, I appreciate DETCOG and everything that it does for San Jacinto County.
I will say this. We started in 1966 as the Deep East Texas Economic Development District. This was a federally chartered economic development district. There's probably an older resolution somewhere hidden back in the 66 era. In 1968, the state passed a law that allowed these regional planning commissions or councils of government to organize. So at that point, all of our counties came together and said, okay, we want to also be a regional planning commission. And at that point, they organized under the state, kept the federal charter. We're still a federal economic development district. We became the Deep East Texas Development District. That was our original name as a state entity. And then 2 or 3 years later, and I don't know exactly why, but in the notes of the minutes of the meetings, Charlie Wilson, who was the president of DETCOG in those early days, serving in the state legislature and also serving as president of DETCOG, announced that we needed to update our bylaws and change our name. And so at that point, we changed and became what we are today, the Deep East Texas Council of Governments and Economic Development District. Thank God for acronyms like DETCOG, because everybody can remember DETCOG. It's harder to remember what it stands for. But y'all have been a part of it since day one. And by the way, Bud McKellar, the county commissioner he mentioned, was the representative of San Jacinto County at the original meeting in November of 1966.
So any questions about DETCOG? One of the things that I have, that I repeat all the time is DETCOG just kind of manages the money. It's not a profit. We don't make a profit. We can't make a profit. Every grant funding opportunity has to be billed out. Even the employees, they come out of those grant funding opportunities, and there's no residue of the money. It all has to be spent. It's all about getting the citizens of DETCOG the product that we're trying to get them. Is that clear? Does that make everybody understand a little more about it?
Also, just down the street here today, we're going to be having our business meeting and luncheon, and you're all invited in the shelter building. Now that was funded with Hurricane Ike disaster recovery money. The building next to it, what we call the Innovation Center, and I'm not sure that the name is morphed into something else, but the newest building over there, that was a cooperative effort of San Jacinto County, which ended up spending more on it than they originally intended to, but DETCOG was able to get a grant from the U.S. Economic Development Administration. That's our granddaddy in Washington, you might say, as an economic development district. We're kind of their boots on the ground, and we were able to obtain that grant from the EDA. San Jacinto County needed more than what the grant would pay for, so they put more local money in to add that really nice facility, which I think those two buildings together complement each other so well, and y'all are very fortunate to have those here. But that's just one example of some of the things that we can't always do what everybody wants, but when we see a need out there, we will do our best to help find help for that, whether it be money. We don't have any of our own money. We don't tax anybody. Our membership is voluntary. All of our counties are members, but they don't have to be. And I think San Jacinto's dues are probably $1,800 a year. I don't know exactly, but overall in membership dues, and this includes some corporate sustaining dues, we collect about $80,000 a year in membership dues. But we leverage that little bit of local money, and we end up providing a benefit of about $30 million a year in programs and services for our county. So that is kind of a misconception. Oh, we need something. DETCOG's got a grant for that. Well, a lot of times we don't. But we also are really good at connecting people with other folks who can help if we're not able to.
Yeah, there's a housing, who's over the housing program?
Jeanette Lewis.
She's not here in Billings.
She's just retired. Her last day will be the 30th.
We got a new housing.
I guess I can break the news here today. I was going to announce it at the deal. Christy Sullivan is going to be our new housing director. So she's a little excited, a little scared, but that's a big program. That's our largest program in terms of dollars. We put about $15 million a year into our regional economy in payments to landlords. And that's a big boost in a rural place like Deep East Texas, because that money, the landlord gets paid for renting out the house, but that money goes to pay plumbers and electricians and carpenters and utility companies, and the money turns over multiple times. And so $15 million a year into our regional economy is not a small thing. And that's an added benefit, because the real purpose of the housing program is to help make sure people can afford fair, decent, livable housing. And if you don't think there's a need for it, I'll tell you that we only open our waiting list up ever so often, because otherwise it'd be totally unmanageable. We opened our waiting list up for 60 days. In November and December of last year, we had 2,300 applications to try to get on the waiting list. So it's a need. Now they don't all qualify, but a lot of them do. And
All right, who's gonna sing happy birthday? We haven't sing it.
We have a singer.
I've heard her sing the national anthem
Whose birthday?
come on, Charlie, it's DETCOG's birthday.
No, okay.
And tomorrow is Shankle's 29th birthday.
Hey, 29.
Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear DETCOG and Mr. Shanko. Happy birthday to you. Birthday to an organization.
Y'all, let's get a picture of everybody here too. We're keeping